Good afternoon, I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. Welcome to Camnet TV Midday News. The headlines. The cost of borrowing money goes up, Bank of Zambia. Motor vehicle dealers worry over the KWACHA depreciation. Join me with the Midday News in detail after this commercial. Hello, have you heard about Msika? Do you know that you can advertise for as low as 150 kwacha for 30 seconds? Well, Msika is here. Advertise on Msika between 17 hours and 18 hours. Just tell us about the services that you offer and we'll gladly put you on the market. For more details, you can contact +260 953 995099. +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467. Msika, allowing your business to grow. And now the Midday News in detail. The cost of borrowing money from the central bank in the country has increased by 50 basis points. Bank of Zambia Governor Christopher Mvunga has announced that the decision to adjust the policy rate from 8 to 8.5% was necessitated by several factors. The governor says among the factors include the escalation in inflationary pressure, which is pushing inflation further away from the upper bound of 6 to 8% target range. The governor says ensuring that inflation remained well anchored in the medium term is essential to moderate fragilities in the financial sector and support economic recovery. And Zanaco Bank Head of Economics and Research, Dr. Patrick Chileshe, has welcomed the decision by the central bank, as this will have a long-term positive effect on the stability of the macroeconomic environment.
The high inflation rate in the country has continued to pose challenges to the development of the economy. Inflation rate that has surged to record high at 21.5%, the highest in 4 years, has seen prices of commodities increase in the country, forcing many vulnerable Zambians to fail to buy certain items and feast on an unbalanced meal. And in a quest to ensure that inflation rate remains within the target bound of 6 to 8%, Bank of Zambia has increased the policy rate by 50 basis points or by 0.5%. This means the rate at which the banks will borrow from the central bank has increased by 0.5% from 8% in the last quarter of 2020 to 8.5% in the first quarter of 2021.
So the decision we've arrived at is to raise the interest rates by 50 basis points. What that means in plain language is that we've raised the interest rate by 0.5%. So 50 basis points translates to 0.5%. In arriving at this decision, the committee took into account rising inflationary pressures, with inflation projected to deviate further away from the target over the next 8 quarters. This decision was taken while being mindful of the weak economic environment, as I already explained, and the fragilities in the financial sector. The decision is primarily aimed at anchoring inflation expectations, which is critical in restoring macroeconomic stability.
The governor also says inflation is expected to deviate further above the target range over the next 8 quarters due to the range pass-through effect of the depreciation of the Zambian kwacha and sustained high fiscal deficit.
If crude oil prices increases persist, fiscal deficits turn out to be higher than projected, and the exchange rate depreciates further. Inflation may be moderated, however, by improved supply of food and subdued aggregate demand, as economic growth is likely to remain modest.
And Zanaco Bank Head of Economics and Research, Dr. Patrick Chileshe, has welcomed the move by the central bank to increase the policy rate by 0.5%, and he says more could have been done.
It's a step in the right direction that the governor took today. We would have hoped for more, especially to stabilize the Zambian kwacha against major convertible currencies, because it seems to be a relatively bigger problem for all of us. Probably for us to reach that level, we needed a relatively stronger action from the central bank, like they did in 2015. In 2015, if you remember, Bank of Zambia did increase the policy rate by 300 basis points, or by 3 4.5%. They also increased the required reserve ratio by 400 basis points to around 18%. And what did we see? We immediately started seeing a strong reaction in terms of the kwacha reversing the negative trend that it faced in 2015. And by 2016, the Zambian kwacha started appreciating.
High inflation and the depreciation of the Zambian kwacha has continued to pose challenges for businesses and consumers of goods in the country. While Zambia remains a net importer, creating a balance in the rule of supply and demand remains cardinal at increasing the flow of liquidity in the economy. Zambia needs to get on track and become a net exporter, an effort that requires both the government and the private sector to play a role. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
In other news, the depreciation of the kwacha against the United States dollars has continued to negatively affect the business fraternity, and motor vehicle car dealers have not been spared. As of 17th February, Wednesday, 2021, the kwacha was trading at about 21 kwacha against $1, and Zambia Motor Dealer Association Secretary Kelvin Kameta tells Camnet News that the depreciation of the kwacha has hit hard amid the COVID-19 pandemic. He says given the prevailing conditions, they have no option but to pass on the cost to the consumers, resulting in stiff competition.
Since 2014, the Zambian kwacha has been in perpetual decline against the US dollar, although with isolated episodes of appreciation. And now, COVID-19 has deepened the kwacha's long-standing depreciation. The kwacha was trading at 13 kwacha for $1 as of 2nd September 2019. However, the kwacha has continued to depreciate and is now trading at 21 kwacha against $1. Some economists have attributed the depreciation of the local currency to importations such as that of agricultural inputs and crude oil, among other things. In other words, the country has been importing more than it is exporting. The depreciation of the kwacha against the US dollar has continued to negatively affect the business fraternity, and motor vehicle dealers have not been spared. Zambia Motor Dealers Association General Secretary Kelvin Kameta tells Camnet News that the depreciation of the kwacha has impacted badly on their business, thus calling on the government to address the free fall of the kwacha.
Has been going up. Every day the dollar is going up, meaning that our business is affected in a way, because as you know, as you are aware, these stocks that we sell here, we don't get them locally, we import them from outside. And for us to import these stocks, these vehicles, we get them in dollars. So the dollar is not stable, the dollar is escalating, meaning that we're having a challenge. For instance, one of the challenges we are having is if my capital of the motor vehicle is 150,000 kwacha, okay? Today, I sell the vehicle. Tomorrow I try to replace the unit. You find that my capital will be lower because the dollar has gone up. So, meaning that I have to increase the value of the vehicle. Okay? So the problem that we're having is that the situation is not really helping us. Government has to look into this. I don't know how they can do it, but government has to look into this. It's a challenge for us who are doing in a foreign business. It's a challenge even to our customers, because the pressure of dollar, escalation of dollar, we are pushing it up to the end user.
He adds that the price of motor vehicles has now more than doubled.
Customers are buying, but they're having a challenge. The challenge they're having is that, for instance, if we go 2 years back, in 2019, for example, the vehicle that we are selling at 65, 75, today, 2021, we are selling it at 120. It has actually doubled. So the effect is not really on us, but the effect is on a customer. The end user is the one who is suffering the consequences of the dollar. The only consequences that we are suffering is it is reducing our number of units. Where I'm supposed to bring 3-4 units, I'll bring 1 unit because the dollar is escalating. That's the challenge we are having.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Zambia's ambassador to Brazil, Dr. Alfreda Kansembe Mwamba, says Zambia is promoting export-oriented industrialization policies with economic diversification and job creation, which she says can be attained through public and private investment in the agriculture, tourism, mining, energy, and manufacturing sectors at large. Mrs. Mwamba was speaking when she chaired a virtual meeting held in Brazil involving the Zambia Development Agency, Zambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and the Brazilian Commercial Association of the Federal District, aimed at enhancing cooperation between Zambia and Brazil. The virtual meeting focused on pharmaceuticals, agriculture, technology, healthcare, and textiles as looming areas of collaboration. The ZASI Chief Executive Officer Phil Daka says Zambia was prioritizing agriculture, energy, construction, and tourism as key investment sectors for economic recovery, growth, and industrialization. Meanwhile, the Brazilian Commercial Association of the Federal District President, Fernando Brites, says his association is keen on starting new partnerships with African countries, Zambia inclusive.
We are urging Brazil's corporate sector to go to Zambia with your pharmaceuticals, agricultural equipment, and make it a hub to reach the rest of Africa, because we are land-linked to 8 countries. It is therefore my hope that through this meeting, we will be able to discuss areas of cooperation that will not only strengthen our bilateral ties, but translate into tangible results that will enhance our trade and investment relations. We will emerge from it having buttressed the 10 agreements and MOUs and those that we have signed in the recent past.
Water Development, Sanitation and Environmental Protection Minister Rafael Nakachinda has assured the German government that all resources received to improve water and sanitation services in the country will be put to good use. Mr. Nakachinda says it is gratifying that the German Development Corporation has continued to assist Zambia in the implementation of the Rural and Water Supply and Sanitation Program. The minister has since commended the German government for providing water treatment chemicals to all 11 water utility companies in Zambia during the peak of COVID-19 pandemic. And German ambassador to Zambia, Dr. Anne Wagner-Mitchell, has pledged continued cooperation and support to Zambia in water, sanitation and environmental protection, among other sectors. The duo was speaking when the German ambassador paid a courtesy call on him via Zoom platform.
Your Excellency, over 200,000 people are expected to have increased access to clean and safe water, adequate sanitation and hygiene. Overall, this is expected to contribute to the reduction of the burden of diarrheal diseases among children under the age of 5 in Zambia. Excellency number 4, support to commercial water utilities. The ministry is also grateful to the German government for providing water treatment chemicals to all the 11 water utility companies during the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic. The support helped significantly in mitigating the operational challenges of the utilities, thereby facilitating the provision of the much-needed clean and safe water to our people. Of course, as a result of the fact that the globe really shut down, had we not received that support, we're going to really have not only the challenge of COVID-19, but obviously if our water is not properly treated, we're going to end up with other ailments like waterborne diseases. Excellency, number 5, support to rural water supply and sanitation basket financing of 7 million euros. The ministry is pleased to note that the German Developmental Corporation through KfW has continued to assist the country to support the implementation of the rural and water supply and sanitation program through the implementation of the Rural Basket Project in 4 provinces, namely Lusaka, Eastern, Northwestern, and Central provinces. The ministry has made strides in terms of planning with the beneficiary districts, and the districts are ready to implement the interventions once the audit is completed. On behalf of my ministry, I wish to thank you for the continued support that the government of Germany is rendering towards improvement of living conditions of our people.
That news item brings us to the end of Camnet TV Midday News, but before we go, the headlines once again. The cost of borrowing money goes up, Bank of Zambia. Motor vehicle dealers worry over the KWACHA depreciation. Well, that is all. Thank you for joining me. I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. Remember to always wear your mask, avoid crowded places, wash your hands for at least 20 seconds, and use alcohol hand-based hand sanitizer. And keep a distance of 1 meter if you have to interact. Stay safe and good afternoon.